Okay. Yeah.
All right, good morning. How's everybody this morning? September 1st, Labor Day weekend, right on our doorstep. So this week's code of conduct is to promote the code. We're at the end of the code of conducts, all 13 points. So again, every week as we go, as we refresh, this one's just kind of one that we just try to look at all of them real quick and just think about this over the weekend, and then definitely come back on Tuesday of just promoting the code. It's just promoting ECI, promoting us, working together as a team, as a community, to succeed and do well here. So, safety news. All right, we did another incident-free, or I should say recordable-free month now. That goes for about 4 months now. We've done an excellent job identifying hazards, working together, using all your resources, using all the tools properly, to making sure that no one's getting sent to the hospital and getting any prescription medication, medical treatment beyond first aid. We've had some bumps and bruises, but we've been able to work together to get through those without having reportable. So, big round of applause. 4 months is pretty damn good. It's you guys out there, that the ones doing the work, they're working together. I can't say enough. Usually August is our worst month, instance-wise. So we can't let our guard down, because the next 2 months we still got a lot of stroke of business to do. So let's keep working together. Let's use your tools, your resources. Use us. Use anybody. If you have any, when in doubt, it's kind of Joey brought it last week. If you have any concerns, any issues, make that call. Stop, make that call. Let's use that STAR protocol. Stop, think, act, and review. When we get in trouble is we don't stop. So let's try to really focus on that, and let's continue this momentum that we're doing. We're having a really good year safety-wise. Let's just keep that focus moving in the right direction. Last thing is just a little thing on insurance and insurance is theft. Please secure your job sites this week. After leaving today, usually 3-day weekends is when we get hit hard with our tool trailers, people jumping in our machines, excavators, turning them on, playing demolition derby, things like that. That's all that's happened in the past. So let's make sure we're good and tight. Let's park our equipment in front of our trailers. If you can, let's make sure we have those good locks where they can't get inside and steal our stuff and do damage to our stuff. So it's not fun coming in on Tuesday morning, getting ready to go to work, and then you got all your stuff stolen. So let's make sure that our site is real secure before we leave. All right, September is going to be a rigging awareness month. The whole month of September, we're going to talk about different types of rigging. Hopefully, we're going to get into all different types of hitches and have different presenters up here and talking just about rigging. We do so much of it in each aspect of our company. So it's important that we really talk about the dangers of rigging, especially with the cranes that we use and the excavators that we use, the forklifts that we use, even anything to tying down our transportation when we're on there on the road. We're going to be talking about all that types of things when it comes to all the rigging and tie down points that we use. So this week we're going to kind of talk about rigging inspection. All right, so hopefully today, before you button up your sites, maybe it's a good time to clean your job trailers, go through your trailers today before you lock them up. And when you do, hopefully we can go through, hopefully you learn a couple things today and you go through your rigging quickly, and if you find anything, you can bring it in and we can either exchange it out or get you an order placed for some new stuff. So today we're going to kind of talk about our synthetics, our wire, rope, our chains, our hooks, and our shackles. It's kind of the basic components that we use for rigging, tying down, and these things are lifesavers for us in the field. So when it comes to synthetics, I'll pass out some. You can kind of find some synthetics here. I'll just kind of pass them around. You can kind of see what we got going on. What we're looking for is cut and frayed webbing. As you can see, it's kind of blurry, washed out a little bit in the picture. Damage beyond belief is, when you really start seeing like half the synthetics is ripped, frayed sling edge, abrasion, and damaged sling tag. Okay, a couple of things when it comes to synthetics. If you can't read the working load limit of the sling, you got to take it out of service. So that's kind of the easy one. It should have a legible working load limit. There are these little fibers in the synthetics that you can see. There's a green and there's a red. The green is like you're really pushing your limits, and then the red is pretty much take it out of service. That's from the manufacturer. You know, compliance offers, they say no wear at all. You know, so you know that's kind of for us to take a little bit of a judgment call. We're going to follow the manufacturer's recommendations on that one. We're going to have a little bit of wear, but again, when we're starting to see those red threads in our synthetics, let's take it right out of service. Let's bring it in. Elliot and Tool Crib, we're able to recycle those, use for edge protectors for transportation and things like that, so we can kind of creatively use some of this stuff when it comes to synthetics. So wire rope, all right, here's an example of a wire rope sling that we use. I'll kind of pass this one out. We had to take this one out of service, and I'll kind of tell you why. So with wire rope, there's a couple things that we need to know with wire rope. It's just the terminology of a wire rope. All right, you have one strand. One strand is when it actually makes a revolution around the core of the wire rope, and that's called a strand. And then you have the one wire that makes up the strand. So it's 10 broken wires in one rope lay, which is the strand. So 10 in one strand, or 5 in one wire. Okay, so, but again, kind of when in doubt, take it out. And a couple of things, I'll have some pictures here, is when they're crushed, pretty much, if it hits like a real sharp edge or anything with our wire rope, especially anything with the crane or any heavy pick that we do, let's take it out of service. All right, kinking, when you have permanent kinks in some of our rigging, that might be some operator error when it comes to our rigging, and when we do that, we can do some serious damage to wire rope. So you see permanent kinking, and it's beyond belief, and if you're unsure, let's take it out of service. And the last, bird caging, and that's kind of what you can start to see on that one. You can start seeing some bird caging when you got separations of your wires. If it's not equal, that means you're really going to have some damage there. And then we have some broken wires in that rigging going around as well. So chain, all right, this is our most common thing. All of our teams out there, everybody's using chains for tie down straps or tie down chains for transportation, and then all of our picking that we mostly do on a day-to-day operation is chain. So with chains, all right, biggest thing with chains is they always say it's 10% wear, 10% wear, 10% wear. So what is 10% wear? So we got these gauges for you guys. If you don't have one already, come grab some gauges. It's very simple. You just check each link, or if you see an issue where you might know, you just quickly run it through. It's this one right here. If it slides into this next compartment, that means you got 10% wear. So it's a handy tool. But the biggest thing that we're looking for, and that's why we had to take this one out of service, is we're looking for stretching, right? Because we do some pulling once in a while with these bad boys. When we pull, we probably exceed the working load limit of the chain, and we can kind of get stretched or bent links. So that's what we're looking for. So now we know this is the weakest point of this chain, and this is when these things snap, and then we got ourselves a dangerous situation out there in the field. So you can kind of just pass that around too. I know a lot of you guys have probably been through this with me before in the Ocean 10s, but it's a good reminder, good refresher about it. Making sure we're out there doing our inspections. You can kind of see where the wear is here and here. So with our hooks, that's why the latches are important. The latches are a good inspection for us, because if the latches don't fit properly, you probably have a stretched hook, okay? I know those things can be a pain in the butt, but again, when we talk about some of our rigging and uses of our chains, hopefully I can teach everybody how to properly hook a chain so we don't start losing latches. But again, 10% twist, 10% on our stretching of our hooks, things like that. But again, when in doubt, let's just take it out of service. So inspect those hooks too. You might start seeing some gouges in the body of the hook. You start seeing that, let's take that out of service. And then very similar with our shackles too. So again, looking for wear, deformation, cracks, sharp necks, and all of our rigging components. And then shackles, or some people call them clevies. Again, 10% wear. Check for the pin for the straightness or tight. You might see some issues with your pins. Look for the wear. And the biggest thing is the open end of the U. This part here, you really want to make sure that this is where you're going to see a lot of your wear. If it looks really gouged or a lot of wear, let's take it out of service. These things normally last a very long time, shackles do. But again, you just never know until you actually physically look at what we have out there. So those are the kind of the key components when it comes to rigging. 10% wear with chains, shackles, the wire rope. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated, 10, but again, when in doubt, you start seeing broken wires, raise the awareness, call us, we'll come out and take a look. And then with your synthetics, okay, synthetics are the ones that are going to go first. You see any cuts or abrasion on our synthetics, let's take it out of service, let's tag it. You see myself or Berta on site, just let us know. Or if you can, bring them in. And Elliot's also been trained to help kind of look at some of our stuff too. We can kind of take care of that stuff for you right here in the resource building. Is there any questions? Nope. Okay, good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, so start here. Couple announcements here is that the 4th, next Monday, this coming Monday, I should say, is Labor Day. And offices are closed for the day, obviously. Like typically, please submit your daily reports by Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Earlier is even better. And like Matt said, secure your job sites for a lot of different reasons. We want to protect for theft and vandalism, but also to protect the public so that things don't happen where we expose the public to more hazards. So also with Labor Day, we're all getting a little bit of a break for a few days and ready for a good push for the remainder of the year because we got a lot of work to do and we got to hit it hard. So this week, sadly, we report the passing of Jim Laughlin. He was born on December 11th, 1962, and he passed away on Tuesday morning, 29th. And we have the same picture here for our memory wall, and Alberta's right there. He will take care of that and add Jim to the wall. And there are some services. We're obviously very saddened. It was a cancer case for Jim. Graveside services for Jim will be next Friday, September 8th, at the Plains Green Lawn Cemetery, and that's off of Needles Eye Road in Morrisville, and a reception will follow from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Morrisville VFW.
Morrisville or Hyde Park?
Oh.
That should be Hyde Park.
Hyde Park, okay. Good catch. We'll correct that for next week. So Hyde Park. I was just assuming since it was Morrisville, it was Morrisville, but I didn't read it. Didn't read it as carefully as I should have. So we got this YouTube compilation of photos of Jim, which we'll run here. So that's Chester Irene Recovery. And I'm not sure where that is. Looks fairly recent. That's Centennial Field over in Burlington. We were putting in lighting. I think that's the same project. This looks like Rygate on Route 5, the long sheeting. Again, another view. We drove all the sheeting on that part of the job. And drove sheeting up from the embankment. This is the 1100, but that was where Jim was. Jim drove the piles at Rygate for the temporary bridge. You can see him. There was a clear photo. You see right through the piles, and he's right there. This was backfilling at Rygate, and Jim wasn't afraid to get out and do some manual work and help out on every aspect of the job. This is pulling the sheets at the outlet at Rite Aid, or the inlet actually. This is the outlet. And that picture of backfilling again. Pretty neat picture from a higher perspective with the crane ball. And then Jim was with the buddies of the dogs at Rygate. And there he is. Rygate again. Rygate. And that's at Cavendish. Jim's right there helping out when the crane activity was at a lull. And I believe that's Cavendish Bridge 130 again. And the same Cavendish putting together the bridge, back wall. And this is the Middlebury-Salisbury bridges, the precast bridges. And this was Cherry Street in Burlington for BED, driving sheets. And again, this is Chester during Irene recovery. And this was Chester as we were lowering the bridge onto the new foundation. And this was the seawall in North Burlington, fiberglass sheeting. Jim was driving it. Great picture of the lake behind him. Nice curved sheet pile wall made out of plexi or fiberglass. And here's one of the crawler cranes, and then Jim decorated up the crane multiple times. So it looks like a meeting at Rygate. This is New Haven last summer. And then decorating up the crane for Christmas. And Jim's image is behind the glass. Looks like it was raining or something that day. That's Chester. Chester again. And I believe that was back walls out here in the backyard picking up some precast. This was Chester. We always opened up the restaurant in the morning, the diner, and Jim set the flag out for the place. Chester, Jim's behind Randy there. So that link's on the email, and I can get it to anyone who doesn't get the email. See if I can figure out how to get out of it. Oh, there we go. Come right back. Oh. Now I got to turn the volume off because it went to another YouTube. I'll reset things. Well, we can. While you're doing that, just roll it down to the next slide, next part of the slide. Guess the YouTube messed us up here. Oh, we got fair tickets here too. There's 3 pairs of fair tickets still available if anyone used them up or didn't get any. They're right here, so grab them after. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so technical tips this week. We've been talking about angles and triangles, and so we would get into a little bit of trigonometry, which is the math branch of math associated with the relationship of angles and sides and triangles. And the basic trig functions are sine, cosine, tangent, and they're applicable to right triangles. So remember this, that sine is the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. Cosine is the adjacent divided by hypotenuse. Tangent is the opposite divided by the adjacent. So we talked about right triangles and the 3, 4, 5 triangles recently. And basically, 3, 4, 5, the sine is 3/5 or 3 divided by 5. The cosine is 4 divided by 5, and the tangent would be 3 divided by 4. And so that's basically what those all are. And if you put sine of 0.6 in, you'd come out, or sine, sorry, of the angle. And actually, I reversed it. You can also go and back calculate the angle. And if you like arc sine, the reverse, you come out with a degree. So if you knew that was a 36.87 degrees, you could figure out the ratio of the sides. So pretty helpful, like in rigging, for example. We use it all the time in rigging. Whether you think about it or not, like we said previously, the loads, vertical and horizontal, all resolve with triangles and trigonometry. And also I said, recall that all the internal angles in the triangle all around, it sums up to 180 degrees. So once we know that, we can figure out what the remaining angle is, that other corner. It's 180 minus the 90 degrees minus that 3687, 53 degrees on the wider top angle there. So for projects, we're highlighting the Bridge of Flowers and Lights in Enosburg. And ECI was contracted with the village of Enosburg Falls to repair the Bridge of Flowers and Lights, which spans over the Missisquoi. And the closed spandrel concrete arch bridge served as Route 108 from its construction in 1913 until a newer bypass bridge was constructed in 1970. And now serves as a pedestrian crossing of the river and is decorated with flower gardens and has lights and so on. You can see in this photo here from a couple of years ago. We've done several projects, a couple projects at least on this. It's decorated up, and it's just a nice little link for the public to enjoy the river and to walk around the gorge area. There's a dam there, a hydro dam. Our scope of work included repairs to the underside of the arch where the concrete had spalled away, leaving exposed rebar. Of course, as you know, especially if you're too shallow on, cover on your rebar, there's the potential for it to fall away when there's any kind of corrosion on the rebar, and that's what happens here. So we used a trailer-mounted underbridge lifting platform to access the work. So this was a trailer unit, and it lowers down below and swings and gives the guys a working platform. And you can see the underside and where they're working, and they're over the river there. The river, that's the crest of the dam right there. And there's some of the pecking and chiseling and blowing out of the dust, and guys had their proper PPE there and other controls. And you can see what happened there. Some of the bar, we chiseled out around the bar where it had spalled away, exposed it, cleaned it up, prepped it for the patch, and this other work had already been patched. So I just wanted to explain what the spandrels were, because I had to think, what is a spandrel? The spandrels, remember, this is a concrete closed spandrel arch. So the spandrels are the triangular shaped areas in the upper corners formed by a bridge deck and an arch. So I highlighted those. The closed spandrel is one that has those spandrels filled. And structurally, those spandrels don't really serve any strength, but they obviously simplify construction, especially in the old days when they would have had to have a pretty complex forming system to do the bottom of the arch as well as the top. Hey, we've done that, haven't we? Would have been easier if we just blocked it out at Rygate, right? Just blocked it out. Would have been easy, but would have taken a lot of concrete. But in the old days, just a lot simpler, especially a bridge in a fairly short area and a short width, that it was just easier to cast it whole. So, and from the photo archives, I got that picture of Jim sitting in the crawler crane back at Rygate, looking up at the load or something. So, that's what we got. All right, have a good weekend. Remember, there's some tickets right here. Be safe, secure the site. Rodney. Gotta hurry out. Oh, there he is. Hey, how's it going? Jeff Barber. Zach McGowan. DJ. Eric Merman.
I'm taking two of these tickets.
Steve Mitchell.
I'll take a couple.
Don't fight.
Timothy Warren.
Stay calm.
Toby Rowe.
No, no.
If you're taking it, you have to present the safety meeting next Saturday.
Oh, no.
Scott Monroe.
Thanks.
Ken Munson.
Ryan Toda.
Mike O'Brien.
Kyle Dennis.
Thank you. Matt Orsolek. Matt Pickren.